welcome to episode number 83 of Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, I'm Ray Carcillo in beautiful Los Angeles, California. One of my best friends in the entire world over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lee Elias. Lee, how are you doing this morning?
Ray, I'm great. It's 35 degrees outside, which is hockey weather. It's like a habitat for me. I'm happy to be here today in hockey weather in Philadelphia. Got a ton of geek news today. Not too much. I mean, we had some sports news, but it's a ton of geek news. Geek heavy show today. So if you're a geek fan, this one's for you. We think most of you are geek fans.
It is going to be a geek heavy show.
Sports is where it's at. We should say now that we have a special episode out already this week. You may have watched it. You may have not. Checking out our Geeks Who Rank Sports episode of the 31 NHL reverse jerseys, retro jerseys.
The retro reverse, from Adidas.
That is out now. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it. We will mention them in the show today, but we're not going to go through our rankings of them because we've done it already.
Yes,
So take a look for that show if you haven't already. It's going to be good. We had a lot of fun with that show. It was a good show.
It was a good show. It was a special hour-long show, a little more than an hour actually. But we each rank our. We vote by division on the show, and then we give our top 5, our bottom 5, but also go to geekswhoLikeSports.com to see our 31-1 top to bottom. We rank everything. Me and Lee agree on some, but definitely don't agree on others. So definitely check that out. It's a fun show for sure. But like Lee said, huge show today. Lots of geek news. We've got some WWE news, game sales numbers. We do have some baseball awards and some baseball news. Not much else in the sports front. Of course, also we're going to talk about football, including the Giants versus the Eagles. But we are going to save that for later because, as always, we are going to kick things off with The Mandalorian, episode 11, The Heiress. This is being one of the shorter episodes of the series, Lee. This
might have been the shortest. That might have been the shortest episode they've done.
Yeah, I mean, it's the shortest for sure this season, but I'm not sure overall. But it is for the slog that was last week's episode. That was episode 10. This was like, cool. Now we're going to hit hyperspace, and we are going to drop in huge plot beats, huge characters. We're going to push things forward. And they did it in the best way possible. They're bringing everything together. Again, it harkens back to Moff Gideon and the Darksaber at the end of season 1, which for anyone, of course, is a Clone Wars fan, knows what that means. It basically means he is the ruler of Mandalore, that he is basically the guy in charge, that all Mandalorians have to bow down to him, but that we find out other characters from Clone Wars, specifically Bo-Katan, is hunting for it. She's there. She's on the world of Trask. She meets the Mandalorian. We find out that the Mandalorian is called a child of the Watch, as in the Death Watch, as in they are religious zealots, which is why he never takes his helmet off, but other Mandalorians do. Just tons of explanation, clarification, and of course, they are setting up for Ahsoka Tano next step. We don't know next episode, but they are setting her up. They said where she is. Lee, we went from one of the worst episodes to probably one of the best from week to week.
I'd say we went from the worst episode to one of the better episodes. First things first, the episodes of Mandalorian have different directors. This one was Bryce Dallas Howard, and she did a phenomenal job. In fact, people on the internet are calling for her to have a Star Wars project now, which I think is a little premature because her first episode wasn't this good. All right. But she's figuring it out. There's a lot to unpack here in terms of just the nature of a show. They packed a lot of stuff into a small amount of time. It felt really, really good. You got super satisfied along the way. It didn't feel like 35 minutes. It felt longer than last week's episode, which didn't end.
Yes.
But from that aspect, as a TV show, this was top level TV show. This probably will be up for an Emmy, this episode, I would say, the amount they packed into it. In terms of the storyline, so finally back to the Prime storyline. So what I find is that the episodes where they talk about the Prime storyline, which is Moff Gideon, who is Din Djarin, the Mandalorians, right? Or as we found out, maybe Mandalorians can't be pluralized with an S. Is the Mandalorian the plural for Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Right. Or multiple Mandalorians. But just so much in this episode with the Prime storyline. And now we're starting to see they kind of tested it a little bit in season 1, but now we're seeing that they are not afraid to tap into the Clone Wars animated series and Rebels. And Filoni and Favreau are just like, this is ours, deal with it. And nobody's complaining. The introduction of Bo-Katan, which is just been waiting so long for that. Again, the first major Clone Wars character to show up in the flesh, played by the actress who did her voice.
Katie Sackhoff.
And did a brilliant job. Obviously, funny enough, like you said, talking about the Death Watch and that Dinjarin is actually part of a Mandalorian clan that is very religious. In fact, they did refer to it as a religion many times in the beginning, which is kind of funny because now I'm like, it is kind of extreme that you never take your helmet off.
Yeah.
Right. It's also damning to everyone that was like, well, Mandalorians don't take off their helmets. Yeah. Just showing that, okay, just because it said it in a show doesn't mean that's the entire thing, because Mandalorians have taken off their helmets throughout time.
Right.
All right. A lot of people were like, well, I was like, I know you just started watching Star Wars, but this has been real. What's that line from Rogue One? Suddenly Mandalorian is real for you, but I've been in this fight since I was 7 years old. That's kind of how it feels. But pressing the plot forward. Brilliant job with the just everything in the episode. Obviously, there's spoiler alerts here. We didn't say that, but if you haven't seen it, but look, this is our rule. We have a 48-hour embargo, and we usually give you the full weekend before we say anything about it.
By the time this airs, it'll have been 6 days since the episode.
You probably watched the next episode already. That's so. But it was so good. The storyline's packed. Definitely hearkening to that. The Darksaber is the person that rules Mandalore, needs the Darksaber.
Right.
And Bo-Katan is after it. In terms of Ahsoka Tano, I'm just not convinced she's going to be in the next episode because of what they did with Boba Fett in the first episode. I would not be surprised if we get another filler episode. With that said, would love it if we get Boba Fett or Ahsoka Tano. Yeah, I would love it. And this was the third of 8, correct? So we only have
we got 5 more episodes. So I mean, like, are they building up to a massive conflict for the Darksaber? Right? We got Moff Gideon again very briefly this episode. He was just in hologram talking to one of the many guest stars this episode, Titus Welliver, who played the Imperial captain on the ship that they were trying to commandeer. He's a terrific actor. So I mean, so you have this, which again also was also a great way to show the single-mindedness of the Empire still in a lot of ways. Not going to give away what exactly he did, but like, he was willing to put his life and the life of all those under him.
We gave a spoiler. We can give it away.
Yeah, he basically he basically was ready to turn his ship into a kamikaze just for the sake of the Empire. As soon as Moff Gideon gave the order, he killed the pilots. He basically put all his troops were cannon fodder, and his goal was just to keep the Mandalorians on that ship from getting any commandeering the ship and getting possibly any closer to Moff Gideon.
And they were calling them pirates too. They were calling them pirates. It's another thing, but it's really well done. Here's another thing about like there's predictions for the next episode. His ship is pretty banged up.
Yeah.
So like I wouldn't be surprised if he returns back to the first planet whose name escapes me, where Grief Karga is.
Navarro.
I wouldn't be surprised if the next episode takes place there. He's like, hey, look, I need some help with my ship. He's been giving away a lot of money. Maybe he needs another bounty. There's a lot of things that could happen before he gets to the next planet, but we don't know. And like I said, kind of trust the showrunners here. But with 5 episodes left, we know there's going to be a Navarro planet. We know there's going to be an Ahsoka planet. We know there's going to be probably a 2-episode Gideon arc. Yeah. That's 4 episodes right there, which means that there probably is going to be one more just kind of rando episode in there. And I just hope it's good.
That's the thing. Like we're okay with the rando episodes as long as they're good. I mean, again, we still know they've already teased once about with Zero, the robot, the robot. Like are the guys he locked up in episode 6 going to come back?
Right, and that was a great standalone episode too. Like I remember watching that one. It didn't really progress the storyline at all, but it felt good. It was a fun episode of TV. Right. It kind of brings up the point, right? Like. And again, everything the show has done has been good. Even the bad episode, like we talked about, wasn't horrendous. Just wasn't, it wasn't fulfilling. I think that's the problem. But like the best episodes right now, we're 11 episodes, and I can say this: the best episodes they've done are standalone episodes that just leave you satisfied. Of that was a really great story, right? Where you're not asking a million questions afterwards. It's like that was a great story, right? And there's a payoff. And then the other great episodes are obviously ones that progress the storyline in a massive way. Again, episode 1 of this season with Boba Fett and his armor and the Krayt Dragon. I mean, super fulfilling episode. Yeah. And then again, you think about the last episode from the first season, super fulfilling. So we'll see where they go. This was a great episode. Again, packed a lot into a little. Congratulations to Bryce Dallas Howard on a phenomenal Star Wars episode. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah. No, for sure. It should be fantastic. A couple other cameos there need to quickly mention. Sasha Banks from WWE, who played Casca Reeves, who was another Mandalorian part of under Bo-Katan's command. So that was a fun cameo. I didn't recognize her without her pink hair from wrestling, actually, at first. It wasn't until the credits. And
this is the character everybody thought was Ahsoka Tano in the trailer, and we were both that's not
it's
Ahsoka
not
Tano.
that's not because that's not Rosario Dawson.
Yeah. Plus, like nothing looked like Ahsoka in that tease. They'll put it that way.
Yeah, no, exactly. She's a tweet. Yeah, she's an orange Twi'lek.
But yeah, no, that's right. There were some other cameos. Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, no. So I mean, that one we mentioned Titus Welliver, of course, and yeah. So I mean, it was a good overall episode. We also have to mention, of course, basically Frog Lady paid off in the only way that was possible, which is that she was a glorified babysitter.
Yes.
While Mando and the other Mandalorians, Bo-Katan's Mandalorians, went off.
Her and Frogman.
Yes. Which, by the way, I'm kind of the one thing I am upset about is that they did not create a genuine species for these.
It's weird.
Creatures, like that they're just Frog Lady and Frogman or Frog Guy and hey Froggy. Hey, all right.
And they're tadpole. Yes.
And now they're tadpole. Yes, we saw one of the eggs hatch. Which brings us into our next subject, the Baby Yoda egg eating controversy.
It's major controversy, Ray. Major. It's major.
People are trying
national
to
news.
have
national news.
It actually is artfully. People are trying to cancel Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian because they're like, the baby's committing genocide. And it's like, no, the baby was hungry and we've all had chicken eggs before. There's really not a big difference here. It just doesn't know better.
No, Ray, we should never eat eggs when the hen that made those eggs is nearby. It's a problem. Listen, I thought this was fake.
And I am also genocidal because I eat plenty of eggs.
I thought this was fake until I was like, oh my, no, this is real.
Yeah.
And number one is this. All right. First off, if we're comparing genocide to a couple eggs, we need to read our history a bit more. Number one, not comparable. Murder would have been a fairer,
maybe, maybe
bad excuse. But the kid was eating eggs. He's eating live animals throughout the show. Nobody cared about the
when it was a frog or whatever or a squid. He eats lots of squid. Kid gets a taste of calamari this episode.
So let's just collectively say from Ray and I, without any forgiveness or us standing out back, shut up and go away. I made a joke on their page. I said, look, there's a lot of talk about potential civil war in America. I said, this would be the tipping point for me. All right. This is ridiculous. What cancel culture's got to go away. I think by and large, the masses do not like cancel culture. Go be outraged about something else. Leave Star Wars alone. All right. Well, Ray and I will let you know when you can be outraged about something. Speaking of that, we have to continue because there's a second cancel culture thing now. I don't know if you know about this, Ray. About the breastplate armor.
Oh, I heard about this yesterday. Anita Sarkeesian. God,
which is just
like, I wish would go away.
Why'd they put breasts on it? I don't know. Go ask any female that's played sports before. Like this is a stupid conversation. I've asked women about this. I've spoken to women about this. So I am coming from an informed opinion. But first off, Mandalorians choose their armor. I'm sure Bo-Katan would want it to be comfortable. All right. And second of all, I didn't even look at that. Like, as a guy, I'm speaking as a guy. It wasn't even in my purview. I didn't even care about that. I didn't think about it. I didn't look and go, ooh. I didn't do that once.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you people doing? She's a strong female character.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, and
like had two extremely strong female characters. What are you doing?
And that's the thing too, is that it's also, I mean, I guess if you it might be from the director a visual cue that this is a female Mandalorian versus a male, because when they have all their armor on, you can't tell otherwise. Like, I genuinely don't know. I don't understand.
This wasn't a Lara Croft thing, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It didn't go that far. Like, what are you doing, people? Shut up. I'm going to say it again. Shut up. There's no pushback you're going to give me here that I'm going to be like, oh yeah, that was over the top. Yeah. All right. The egg eating and then the breastplate. What are we talking about here? What are we doing? Go find something else to be outraged at. There's plenty of things out there to be outraged. If you need some, call Ray. He's got a list. Okay. You can do that, but this is stupid. What's next?
Yeah,
go away.
It's stop trying to ruin other people's fun
in
the name of.
Lucky you live in a place you can do this unharmed.
Yeah, and
disappear in other countries.
Well, that's the thing. Is it's the attempt to try, and it's fake quality kind of thing in a way where it's like like, yeah, she's got boobs. Like, I don't know. Like,
how about this? I'm gonna quote.
I've got boobs too. If it makes you feel better.
Characters, fictional characters.
Yeah,
they're not even real, and we're outraged.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know. People, I'm sure people will comment below. Comment how horrible me and Lee are for feeling this way below.
Please, yes, to let us know and inform us. It better be an informed opinion. It better be educational. It better be really good, and you better be okay with me disagreeing with it because that's my right. But
yeah,
listen, I'm going to say this. This show, I can't think of one female character in this show that is not a powerful woman. Okay.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. It is long overdue in cinema and television that there are strong female characters. I'm not commenting on that. All right. Like, but every character I've seen that's a female on the show has been most of them stronger than the Mandalorian himself.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do not understand. You can't ignore that. And complain about the breastplate that they all wear.
Yeah, that it happened to have like curves to it. Like, I mean, and it's not even
creates the Mandalorian.
Yeah, the Mandalorian, exactly. The Mandalorians get to pick that. I mean, now we're going again. You're mixing real outrage with fake lore, and you're trying to like. It's just, I don't know. It's
go away.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I mean, it's not like, and I get like, because I get this argument, right? It's not like the sexy girl in a video game that's wearing just a bikini and that's her armor. It's legit, like it's a legit full breastplate. She has a full suit of armor on.
Right. And it wasn't gratuitous. I'm going to say that. In my opinion, it was not gratuitous.
It really, honestly, like Lee said, I don't, it didn't really register because it's not like, oh man, that man, she looks so sexy in that armor because there's just like a curve there. Like that's not. That never even registered for most of us.
I have one more note, please. Going back to Baby Yoda, okay? Can we all acknowledge, Red, this will make you laugh. Can we all acknowledge that people are getting upset over Yoda eating some eggs when the primary adversary in Star Wars is the Empire that have actually committed mass genocide?
They're actually like Nazis,
They legit blew up a few planets.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they came back and blew up more planets as the First Order.
Yeah.
That wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
That was fine.
Yeah.
But the child eating some eggs.
Well, and again, I mean, and I think that's a problem too. That, not to get into the socio status of things, but a lot of times people don't see things as a problem. It's what they say. It's like one death is a tragedy, 1,000 deaths is a statistic. It's a terrible thing to say, but it is what a lot of folks say. And that's, I think, the thing with the argument versus the planets versus the eggs. Oh my God, Baby Yoda ate 3 eggs. Oh, the Empire killed billions by destroying a dozen planets, but they don't see the people on those planets.
Again, I'm going to say this again. I have to say this. This is more of a real statement. If you do not understand the difference between genocide, like real genocide in a TV show, if you're comparing those two things, you really need to read history because it's kind of insulting to me with what my family has been through in the history of the planet.
Yeah.
That we should not be comparing fictional characters doing something normal to genocide.
Yeah.
That's not the word.
Yeah.
I have to say that.
That is the wrong word.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we have to do this at the end now. It's going to no frog legs were hurt in the making of this film.
Yeah, I know. It's just like
right. Nobody said anything when they punched the baby.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, exactly.
Go away. Stay away from my.
This is how you know. This is as sad as this is how you know people are fed up with COVID because now all the people are starting to find other things to complain about again.
Yeah. I hope this is not a hot take from us that becomes very controversial.
I know. Suddenly, Ray and Lee get canceled.
Canceled.
Like sports.
They wouldn't cancel the genocide that wasn't genocide. With the frog lady.
Something that doesn't even have a species.
What? Yeah. You know, the child ate a baby spider in front of its mother the week before, and nobody said anything about it.
Oh, well, that was his monster, though. But that's a monster, Lee. So
but she was pissed off. Clearly, that was fine.
Yeah, it's people just. God, Here's the problem is that these moments are eliciting feelings, which they're supposed to do. That's what you want from television.
We all did
right, exactly. The problem is that a lot of these people don't know how to process these feelings besides complaining and besides trying to figure out a way to be outraged. Whenever they have an uncomfortable feeling, they have to feel outraged, and then everyone else suffers around them for it. Go away. Go process your feelings somewhere else, because look, feelings are legitimate and they should be felt, but there's also feelings that you feel the wrong feelings, or you take the wrong action from your feelings, and I feel this is the case there. Go take your mock outrage elsewhere, preferably jumping off a bridge with it or something. Sorry, joking, not true.
I'm outraged.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still alive and I'm outraged. This water's too cold.
Go swim around the river. Anyway, we talking about canceling things. Now we're going to talk about a slight delay. WandaVision, but it officially has a date now. WandaVision was supposed to come out possibly in December, but it could potentially be because we're just gonna move on now. Possibly because of the Mandalorian, they wanted to go the full run before something else comes out. But WandaVision's been delayed about 3 to 4 weeks to January 15th. But we have a solid date now for the first Marvel show here on Disney Plus. This is going to be a huge deal. It's supposed to set up a lot of other stuff in the universe. We still don't have Black Widow. We still don't know what's going to happen with the movies. Hopefully Disney wisens up and just puts them on the service already. I'll pay for them. But at this point, WandaVision, January 15th. That is the release date. It is locked in. It's been delayed about 3 weeks. New year. Here we go. Super pumped. Lee, what's your thoughts?
A few things. So one, this is a little bit of a weird milestone for Marvel Disney, which is this will be the first time that there are no Marvel properties coming out for an entire year. Yeah. Obviously, the first movie, 2010, Iron Man, to 2019, Endgame, over the course of that 9 years, excuse me. This is the first year now we're going without a Marvel show. Now, Ray and I did discuss off the show that it's kind of irony, or not irony, but it is kind of weird that they were able to finish the Infinity Stone saga, perfectly. So that, if there was going to be a perfect time to stop, this was it. Yeah. All right. But I also think we joked about this too, Ray, that I wouldn't be surprised if Disney was like, you know what? Let's not mess with 2020 at all. Yeah. And we're just going to push it back. People will wait. They'll be in the holidays. And so we know it's coming out with Black Widow. It's going to be, we're going to see. I know what they're going to do is wait to see how powerful this vaccine is. That's what I think Disney's doing. And if it's working, people are getting it, I'm sure they're going to hold off to the summer. Yeah. But I don't think they can hold off much longer than that. In my opinion, I think they'd be kind of dumb not to, if next summer we're not in a better place. Right. To release it. And I think what's likely to happen is it's going to be a theatrical release for 2 weeks, and then it'll be on demand, which is the new rules, right? So that's what I think is going to happen, because they got to get the train moving again. At some point, people don't forget about these things. That's not where I'm going, but at some point, the fatigue of waiting will start to get people like, oh, yeah, okay. And, Justice League's coming out. Yeah. So
Disney could lose its momentum a little bit. They've had this amazing momentum for so long, but even at some point, even that will taper off.
And again, I don't want people to say, I know everyone's going to go see it, but there's a feeling that goes along with that. Like, for example, like, how's everybody feel about Avatar right now? Right? There's 4 more Avatar films coming.
Do we need 4 more Avatars?
Apparently, but my point is it's like I don't have a connection. I've seen Avatar. I loved it. It was a great movie, but
it's fine.
There's no connection now for me. I mean, I'll go see it. but it's like, they have to earn it back.
You have to almost relaunch relaunch things again. Yeah.
Well, James Cameron doesn't usually screw things up, but like I'm just saying, like we're not there, but you can't go forever like this. You got to release something. Yeah. I mean, like, things holding us over, like the Spider-Man game or Miles Morales or things like that.
Yes.
So, again, I know Disney and Marvel's like, we can wait as long as we want, and you can just we're waiting too.
Exactly. And at some point, other folks are going to start putting stuff out, and it's going to take our attention away.
I'm not going to lie. Releasing Black Widow around Christmas time as a stream, that would have been a nice little gift, especially with a lot of the closures happening. Like, hey, you know what? We know it's tough out there. Here's the deal. It's $25, $30. You can get it on Disney Plus. Go. Yep. Now that would have been a really nice deal. And I bet they would have made just hundreds of millions of dollars by doing
Well, especially now that brings us actually to our next story, as we have numbers officially as Disney Plus officially has crossed the 73 million subscriber mark. Like that's anywhere between, folks, that's like $7 to $12 a month, depending on what if you get I get the triple package, like I get Hulu and ESPN along with Disney Plus. Like say even it's the $7 package or whatever, that's $500 million a month. I think there might be an audience for Black Widow out there to make some money through this service, but that's a lot of subs. And I mean, obviously, I'm sure to a point the pandemic actually helped that a little bit for people staying at home. But like,
yeah,
it was doing huge numbers even before then, though.
This is what I wonder now. Just kind of merging these conversations. Justice League's coming out in 2021.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if Marvel plays something around that, like Black Widow, or probably or like I said, WandaVision, because like what I think they want to do, and this is the game, right? You have to ask yourself: is Justice League going to be good, bad, or in the middle? My guess is in the middle because we've seen it. I don't think it's going to be bad, but I think it's going to be in the middle. And I think people are going to be let down a little bit. I think it's going to be good, but I think people have their hopes too high for a movie we've already seen.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It's just like, I think we've seen a lot of it, and I think we kind of know what the story is.
Yeah.
So I think after that dies down, that's when Marvel's like, oh, here's WandaVision. Come back to me. Where did that lead you? Back to me. That's what's going to happen. So, but yeah, 73 million subs makes me really happy on multiple levels. One, as a Disney stockholder, very happy. Number two is I think it shows the power of Marvel Star Wars. I should give a shout out to this because I've been watching this religiously, but like even Nat Geo, National Geographic, they put out The Right Stuff as a TV show. I'm really enjoying that, about the Mercury 7, first Americans in space.
Right.
I would recommend that to anybody if you're a science nerd. I think that this is a total side note, but I think that we as a culture both have undervalued and forgotten the space race in a very bad way. It is one of our crowning achievements as a society, as a culture, and as Americans in terms of just what this country was able to produce. That was American ingenuity at its finest. And I know we are going back to the moon soon, and then Mars in 2025. And I'm really hoping that that's going to be something that unifies us quite a bit. Because I would love for people to feel good about being American again. I know some people do, some people don't. Probably over the last 6 months, half the country's flipped back and forth on that. I would just like something that makes us all feel good about being American again. And I think that, shout out Tesla, Elon Musk, and even Bezos is working on something like just NASA to 100% NASA. I just would love to see something like that because I think, again, like the fact, again, we launched 4 astronauts into space yesterday, and they landed on the space station this morning. No one cares. That bugs me.
Well, I mean, the sad thing, there's a lot we could get
into space.
We could get into a lot of real news stories that unfortunately have been undermined by the political cycle and a lot of other stuff. And
that's a geeky story. That's a geeky story, the space one. So anyway, going back, 73 million subscribers is I mean, look, this is the American flag on the moon for streaming. There's a good transition back. All right. That's what this is. All right. Streaming is the way. It's not just the way forward. We knew this, but like, this is a beyond an exclamation point. We're in charge now.
Yes. Right? Well, I mean, even the other number that we got.
It's time, live sports.
Yes.
Jump off cable so we can stop watching cable, please.
Yes, please. That's the only reason why people still have cable anymore is because of sports. And honestly,
the yellow pages now to me. It's
exactly.
I'm sucking money out of it. Move over. All right. Well, I'll be honest with you, everybody listening. Ray and I are broadcasting majors. We were, right? We're other things now. I don't know why I made you say that. Listen, look, it will benefit society if we get away from television ratings. Great. All right. In multiple ways. Again, whatever you're watching on TV, whatever you're watching, anything on cable that may be informative in nature is relying on advertising dollars to stay afloat, which means they will do anything to keep you watching. Like, hey, cancel Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
They'll
interesting.
do anything to keep you watching. So just keep that in the back of you are watching shows and news and stuff on TV that is based on doing whatever it takes to keep you watching. And let me tell you something, well known, fear sells.
Yeah.
Fear sells better than anything. You don't watch TV when it's good news.
Yeah.
I'm going to start it right now. I never thought I'd say this, right? I never thought I'd say this 15 years ago. Operation #KillCable. It's time.
Yeah, I used to have a T-shirt that said "Kill your TV." You know, it was kind of basically the same thing. It was
Kill cable now.
Yeah, cable's done. Like, look, we don't need it. We don't need it. Everything I get everything over the internet. Everything I pay for a subscription.
And if you disagree with us, let us know. Comment below. Let us know. Do you need your cable? Live sports and local news, which is the last great bit of journalism.
Yeah.
By the way, local news is the only journalism that I believe in still.
Yeah. But even that, do it with a geolocator where you can get your local news streamed to your.
That's what I'm saying.
Just your laptop. I mean, and even that, like, I mean, and I'm not getting political here, but I'm really thrilled by the fact that Biden says he wants to fix the infrastructure to get fiber optics to everywhere across the country, which honestly we should have done years ago.
Right.
But
the cable companies stopped that from happening.
Yeah. And it's like, man, again, I have no idea if he's actually going to happen. I don't know if it's going to get stopped again because of evil lobbyists and all the other stuff. But again, I also understand there are certain parts of the rural America where you don't get the internet as quick as we do here on the coasts. Or Lee because he has Comcast, and Comcast is terrible. But it's not good, buddy. It's not good. Comcast.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, but it was a joke. But yeah, I mean, obviously there are certain areas of the world where you don't have it, but I think that's why it's also we should, as a society, push to get people better internet access and whatnot. So anyway, also real quick, one more stat: CBS All Access also announced their numbers: 72% growth year over year. Streaming's the future, folks.
Do you know what saved CBS?
Star Trek.
Yes, that is exactly how they got into this game with Discovery and then Picard, and that's what exploded. And here's the thing: it's good programming, right?
Yeah.
So again, streaming is the future. That is massive growth. I got it for Picard. I did. Yeah. Now here's the funny thing, though. I also ended my subscription when Picard ended. So it's a weird subscription service where I'm like, okay, I only want it when I want it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not enough there like Disney Plus to keep it every month.
And I haven't bought HBO. I will buy HBO when Justice League
that's where I'm at. When Snyder Cut comes out, that's probably when I'll jump on HBO.
We have to because of
it's a business expense.
It's have a business to do
expense. It. Yeah.
Right. We can't talk geeks if we don't have all the geek.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's a must. Right? It's an absolute must.
So
yeah.
But look, it's great numbers. I'm glad this is finally coming. I've been the guy with an Apple TV for 10 years. Okay. Like I've been waiting for this for a long time. All right. If I'm going to, again, sidestep this a little bit, Ray, if the sporting leagues could just figure this out. I mean, the problem is a lot of their TV deals are ending, which is good, I think. Yeah. But like the NHL, I'm not transitioning to sports here, but this is back to the streaming part. You know, the NHL kills me because they're supposedly the most technologically advanced league. They do a lot of amazing technological stuff. Mm-hmm. What they've done with MLB AM, MLBAM or whatever they call it, has been amazing.
Yeah, advanced media,
statistics. But then it's like, okay, I want to stream it. So I have the NHL kind of package on my TV, which gives me the games, but I don't get NHL Network on it. I don't get new same on it. It's like, guys, what are you doing? This is what we want. So,
same thing with MLB.TV. I have that too. It's like, just give me MLB Network with the games. Like,
why not? Right. I'd pay more for it. I would pay more for that. So I'm going to guess a lot of this is just they don't want to piss off their TV networks and their local broadcasting because, again, they're all on cable, the local broadcasts.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But like what the NFL was doing with Yahoo, like they're streaming games through Yahoo.
Yeah.
I think Yahoo, unfortunately, is going to be like smartphones before Apple with this. I think someone's going to come along and perfect it.
Yeah.
Again, we're waiting, man. You could do this. You could do this easily. I mean, you have the plan with ESPN.
Yeah.
ESPN could mold into Disney Plus or like they do it now. I mean, there's a lot of things. By the way, ESPN Plus is great too.
Yeah.
And it's only $5 a month. I mean, if you get it separately, it's worth it if you're a sports fan. Anyway, Ray, back to you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Again, we can be on streaming all day long, even with the Yankees Entertainment and Sports. Yes Network. Why don't it's in the Yes Network? Like the individual teams, not every team requires. Yes, a lot of smaller market teams, Oakland and whatnot, like need the NBC Sports affiliate or whatever. Like, But for those other ones, like who don't, like Nesson in Boston, right?
Right.
Like NESN, like you don't need these cable networks. Just go digital. Go digital. You'll probably make more money in the long run.
They have digital apps. They're just not in control yet. That's what I would say.
It's going to take a little bit of time, but
No,
moving on.
Last thought. Sorry, there is some overlap with. There's an age gap here too. Okay, like it is easy for us to say this at our age. Like I know for a fact that, to be fair, like if you're in the, I'm not dating anybody here, but I'd say 60 and up, probably 50 and up's not even fair. 60 and up, 60 and up, you've had cable your whole life. You don't want to use the internet. I kind of get it.
Yeah,
I kind of get it. But this is my point. You don't have to kill cable for those folks, but put some money and infrastructure into streaming that make cable secondary. It's not hard. It's a button on your remote, please.
Yeah, anyway. like my parents and grandparents need cable. Right?
I get it.
They need the cable box.
We have to age out, but my point is all the money, like too much money going into that still. Like
yes,
there's too much. Like you need this to watch the sports. Like no, I don't need it. Give me another option.
Yeah,
you'll get better ads too. This is the thing that kills me, is because you will get, if they have ads, first of all right, you get more tailored ads, which is not a bad thing. Everybody hates that. I hate ads. Tailored ads are better than non-tailored ads. Okay. Like I wish people would buy into the advertising system a bit more. I'm not just saying that because I'm a business owner, but it's like, look, I get some great ads now for things that really pertain to me because of the way this works. Like I said, where else am I going to find a Star Wars hockey shirt? The internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and I didn't buy it, but I wanted to. Right, keep going.
But yeah, no. So that does it for that. So that is the future. Unfortunately, some of the past is starting to leave us. Some video game news. I would need to reach out to my friends over at USGamer. Unfortunately, they announced that they are closing up shop. A very good outlet, did a lot of great work, a lot of great people over there, from Mike Williams and Kat Bailey, and I could go on the list. Unfortunately, and I think that they're owned by Reed Pop. And this, I wonder if this is part of the fact that Reed did not have any conventions this year.
It has to be
because of COVID.
Right. And the ones that they did have were free too.
Right. Or they were all online. Exactly. Yeah. So it's unfortunate to hear. It's a downer note. I guess this counts as our death of the week. I'm sorry. I guess.
Wow. And the eggs from the Mandalorian.
And the eggs. So again, a lot of good people over there. Reach out, check them out if you haven't, and hopefully they'll all land on their feet. I actually think Mike Williams has already announced he's got another gig, so I'm happy for him.
That's good. Look, when one industries rise, others fall. I tell everybody this about the pandemic. You should support your local restaurants, local businesses right now. I'm 100% all about that. But I take a macro to micro approach. The micro approach is support your local businesses. Okay. If you can. All right. The macro approach is this. This is a earth-changing event. They happen once every century. Yeah. Okay. And, I've studied business. I've studied events like this in the past. There will be industries that collapse and fall, and there will also be new industries that rise. In terms of our show, what we talk about, the movie theater chains are going to have to change.
Yeah.
We know that new industries will rise. Major restaurants are closing down. New restaurants will change. I can tell you this all right now. There's a young restaurateur out there right now somewhere in America, probably multiple ones, that have been wanting to start a business, starting a restaurant. Maybe they're just a year or two away financially from where they need to be to do it. They will rise.
Yeah.
All right. And yes, I'm not saying it's good that companies fall. It's a reality. It's a reality of the situation.
Yeah.
And I hate it, but that's what happens in time periods like these. And again, it's just kind of a live in the moment type thing and see where it goes. Look, another thing is look, now we've been doing this podcast since before the pandemic, but we've grown during the pandemic because people are home. All right. Podcasting, streaming. There's no way. Look, this has been I don't want to say a gift in disguise. That's not fair. The pandemic has benefited streaming heavily, or I should say accelerated is the word. Okay.
Yeah.
It just accelerated the need for it. And I can tell you this, guys, as a business, Disney, these Fortune 500 companies, while they're happy with their growth, they're happy with the revenue. I really believe they're not happy that the pandemic's happening.
Yeah. I don't think Disney wanted to lay off 28,000 employees from their parks a few months ago. Like, I don't think people are happy with that.
This time has been tough on business owners. Again, I'm a business owner. when this started, I had to have conversations with my co-owners that I never want to have. Conversations like, how long can we keep our head above water before we have to lay people off? We had that conversation like the first week of this. All right. Now we were able to navigate it. All right. Because we have a great team here. But every company had to have that conversation. Right. And that's what I'm trying to say is that this is not easy for business owners any more than it is for non-business owners. Right. We're in this together. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, just keep an eye out for that. New industries will rise. Some will fall. It's tragic either way.
Yeah,
but
sounds
that's
like
the reality.
Hamilton. Oceans
Right.
rise.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to sing for you. Right.
Yeah, don't.
What's your name, man?
No, not necessarily.
Lee, Matthew, Jason, Elias. I'm waiting in the game for you. If you do it right now, you can play Hyrule Warriors every night. Oh.
That comes out Friday. Actually. Funny. Lee has 2 middle names. I don't have any. So he makes.
I'll give you one of mine if you want.
No, I'm okay.
You want a quick one here for you? So I'm gonna shout this. I'm gonna shout out to my father. My middle names are Matthew Jason.
Right.
On my birth certificate, my father misspelled Matthew. He left out one of the T's, so I joked that one of my middle names is Matthew. Lee, Matthew, Jason, Elias. Or we found out that if you combine them, Lee Matthew is like a thing on its own.
Oh, almost like DJ LeMahieu of the Yankees.
Right. No, I don't like the Yankees, but Lee Matthew. All right. I'll give you. You know what, guys? We're gonna do this. We're gonna give Ray a middle name.
No, I'm fine. Look, I have a junior. I'm Ray Carcillo Jr. I have a junior at the end. So
that's just gonna make it worse when we give you a middle name.
No, it's not necessary.
No, it's gonna happen. It won't be this episode, but this is what we're gonna do. Comment below. Everybody give Ray a middle name. Matt Cavalieri is absolutely gonna comment on this because he likes to do that. Ray Carcillo Jr. is his name. We must give him an honorary Geeks Who Like Sports middle name, not middle finger, middle name. Don't confuse the two. By next week. So that's your job, Geek Guites.
This is gonna be a disaster. Speaking of disasters, the new consoles launched this last week.
There you go.
And that was an absolute nightmare. People left and right could not get the systems. Some people out there, some terrible, disgusting, deplorable people used bots to acquire 20, 30 systems. And then, of course, jacked the price up, scalped them on the internet. Fortunately, it does seem that some of them have not been successful in selling. Others have, but buying up a short supply of something and then reselling it at a profit is not. It's not capitalism. That's extortion.
It's profiteering.
That's profiteering. Yeah, that's
right? It's wrong. And if you guys don't remember Pharma Bro, I do. I'll say it. We're not even going to bleep this. One of the biggest dicks on the planet.
Yeah,
he's in jail.
Yeah, for taking life-saving meds and jacking up the price because he had a monopoly.
600% or something like that.
Yeah, it's. And that's kind of what people were doing. But because of the good graces of a very good friend of mine, I was very fortunate to acquire a PS5 at least. She had an extra. She was not profiteering. I know a couple of people out there who were able to pick up like one extra because they had
dude, 2 is not profiteering in any way. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Yes. No, I want to preface that just like it's different when you buy
that.
It's different when you buy 2 with the intent of getting one to a friend than buying 30 and selling 29 of them for 1,000.
They are not comparable. They're not comparable.
Exactly.
And just to make sure, you're not mentioning the friend's name, correct?
Not mentioning the friend's name.
All right. I do want to say, as Ray's friend, to that friend who may be listening, that warmed my heart. It really did. It was a very nice thing to do because Ray was having a problem finding one, as he said, and you came through for him in a clutch. So I know who you are, and I want you to know that it warmed my heart. You really made me feel good by getting him a PS5.
Yeah, so I was more than happy. I had the money. It wasn't a matter of the money. It was just finding one. And so I was very happy too.
Sir, please, do you have any PS5?
And I still don't have an Xbox. Putting it out there, Microsoft. I still can't find an Xbox Series X.
Do you have an Xbox Sex for me? Please, sir. I know, in the English accent, that sounded really weird.
That sounded really weird.
Right.
I'll even take a Series S. Please, sir.
Yeah. So I got the PS5 this week. I got Spider-Man Miles Morales. Not ready to do a full review on Spider-Man Miles Morales, but a little disappointed that the PS5 still hasn't fixed a few issues from the PS4.
Right.
First off, for us streamers out there, So Microsoft is very smart. When you put your headphones into an Xbox controller, you can still send the audio from the system to your stream. So this way you can hear without having your TV, the volume on, so there's no echo for those of us who use a microphone like this, which is basically 99% of us.
Echo.
Right. For Sony, unfortunately, they still, if you plug your headset into the controller, you still can't send the audio to your streaming device, which is, I get
Amateur?
it.
Amateur?
Yeah, I mean, I get it with the PS4 generation messing that up because streaming was still at the beginning of that, really just starting to take off back in 2013. But now you've had this for 7 years. This has been a problem that a lot of us have complained about, and you still didn't fix it. So it feels lazy. Honestly, it feels but again, that also feels like this PlayStation 5 in general, that aside from its weird winged router design, it feels a little rushed.
I'm sorry, wait.
Feels a little rushed.
Well, I'm gonna be way harsher than you are.
Yeah.
You're being nice. Like, how is this lazy? I'm sorry, Ray. What is by far the biggest advertising platform for video games right now? By far, nothing's even close to it.
Oh, it's Twitch and streaming.
Twitch. Yeah. And you didn't set your system up for that?
Yeah.
What are you, a bunch of idiots? Are you serious with this? They're not getting off a lazy. Where's the oversight? I'm losing my mind on this one.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the little things. The fact that you haven't optimized for streaming.
That's incredible to me. Yeah. That's incredible to me. It's the biggest advertising platform you have, and you made it hard for people to use it?
Yeah.
Are you serious? I'm telling you, I'm going to say it again. I've said this before. This is the last PlayStation. There will be another PlayStation. Xbox is going to take over the market.
Yeah.
I believe that. It's a bold, but
I mean, even the simple thing as the HDCP option, it's like at this point, you know that it's just it's a simple thing as changing the settings in the menu, but it is the fact that I have to go into the settings in the menu and I have to change this every time I want to stream. It's just an inconvenience. It makes me not want. The only reason why the only reason why I stream a lot of games on PlayStation, I only stream the exclusives. People are like, why'd you get Madden and NHL and all that other stuff on Xbox? I'm like, because it's easier to stream on the Xbox.
I'm going to say this again. And what you just said is 100%. It's easier to do it. So you're buying games for that system. Like, proves my point 10 times over right there.
Yeah.
Number two, maybe not point number one is, like I said, unless PlayStation is trying to limit the amount of streamers they have, which is dumb, this is the biggest advertising venue for gaming on the planet. It's not commercials. It's not GameStop. It's kids watching other kids play video games. I'll give you an example. Ray's been playing Miles Morales. My son watches him. Guess what game my son wants?
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Well,
okay?
I mean, and even then, Mike, by the way, Microsoft, I think you should start owing me like royalties because I'm starting to like really help sell you stuff. On Friday night, I did a game called Gears Tactics. And I had 3 people in chat say, wow, I never even heard of this game. It looks great. And they bought it right there.
Right.
Like,
it's kind of obvious, but look, this has always been Sony's problem. I honestly, I'm not going to say that they didn't have the foresight. I don't know what happened there. Someone screwed up and someone should be fired. You should never make it hard for your fan base to have a voice ever. And you have the greatest advertising platform in Twitch that you've ever had. Again, when think about this as a consumer, right? Miles Morales, we'll just use that because we're talking about it, right? Let's just say you're on the fence. You don't know if you want the game. First place I'm going to go right now. 10 years ago, first place I go is EGM. I'm reading Ray's review. I want to know what Ray thinks of the game. What I do now is I go to Twitch. I search for it. I see who's playing it. Hopefully someone I know is playing it, like Ray Carcillo, at Ray Carcillo on Twitch. And then I watch them play it, and then I make a decision.
Yeah.
Because the other great part of it is if I like it, I'm going to turn them off. No offense, Ray, because I don't want to see what happens.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and I tell people all the time, like, I primarily do campaign stuff. I don't do a lot of online multiplayer stuff usually, or franchise stuff with my games. Like, people,
right?
I have my audience, right? People know that. People like it. Some people don't, and they don't. Okay, bye-bye. Or if, like in your case, they don't want to get spoiled, I say, hey, come back later or watch later. Like,
and Ray can't plug himself, but I can plug Ray. This is why people help Ray get games so they can play their games, so Ray can help push the game out there. He's for hire. His name's Ray Carcillo. Come through his agent, Lee Elias, Lee Matthew, and find me, and we'll make something happen.
Lee is my agent for these things, my business manager, because he's good with that stuff. I'm not. Like I'm not.
No.
He's a people person.
You are the future. The future is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray
Look.
Anyway,
I'm the mouthpiece,
wait.
and Lee directs me in certain directions, and that's the way I go. Like, and that's good. It's like a mecha Koopa. He just winds me up and goes. Like,
okay, we got that recorded, so I can use that against you later on. Okay,
probably.
Keep going.
I'm in a lot of me and my business. But yeah, so the PS5. I mean, look, it looks great. It is obviously in 4K. It's not as powerful as the Xbox Series X will be, but it's. I think you're kind of splitting hairs with the power at that point. Microsoft does have bigger storage, which to me is a big deal at launch. Again, especially because I'm going to get all my third-party games on Microsoft. Because again, Sony messed up. But
there are some positives. Yeah.
There are some positive. Again, I mean, obviously Spider-Man. The exclusives are going to be great. For sure. Like, so, and that's the thing. Sony still knows how to make a great game. Sony makes great games. I'm not going to deny this.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not either. That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, and it just, and again, that's
why they will soon make great games for Xbox.
and actually that's true. We know MLB The Show 21 is going to Xbox, and we think that's possibly the start, a portent of things to come. Soon
you will get Sony games on Microsoft. That is 10 years from now. That will be what happens, if not less.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, but again, the hardware itself, the system it's a massive. It is a monstrosity.
It looks big.
It is absolutely. It is twice as big as the PS4. It is literally like this big around. It is absolutely massive. I had to clear off so much shelf space to fit it. I
don't get it. I don't get why they did that. It's because they can't. It's because they couldn't do any better. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and look, and also like the UI is made minor improvements, but nothing great. In fact, actually now, I think unlike Microsoft, who's like, hey, this is what people are used to. Let's just keep doing this and making minor tweaks that are intuitive. Sony completely changed up their UI again. It took me, I had to go online to be like, where was this feature from PS4? And like the fact that I need a guide to just get through your system's interface just shows that maybe you guys did a bad job, A, marketing this, and B, maybe the changes you made weren't for the better. Now, I'll get used to these over time, but for a first-time user with this system, like, guys, I need something else. I need something to say, hey, this is where all the stuff that you loved and used primarily, it's now over here. It's now here. We made it's such a drastic shift from PS4 to PS5 that it was a bit off-putting at first. I'm not going to lie. I didn't want to have to dig for stuff that I just know where it was after 7 years of using the other system. So again, I guess overall the UI will be is streamlined, but it's at this moment it's not efficient for me because I'm still searching for stuff because I don't know where it is. So overall, the system's probably a 7 out of 10. Like, it's solid. It's going to have some good games. It's got some power. It needed
to be a 10. It needed to be
it's not. It's not.
Yeah. To survive, they need to have a 9 or 10. I'm telling you. And by the way, I don't trust most of the reviews I read online, right? Because I think they're getting paid off.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I would not trust any of those online reviews right now because I think that by the way, if you're hearing any noises, they're doing work on the pipes in my apartment complex. So there's probably drills and banging and all that other fun stuff because happy Tuesday.
Live podcasting in 2020.
Yes. So, but yeah, so I mean, it's a fine system, but so it's not Sony's best effort, which I kind of feel has been kind of defined Sony the past decade or so. But we did mention they still make great games. They do make great games. We're going to go into some quick sales numbers here. We have some sales numbers that are interesting. God of War on PS4, because a lot of folks are buying it to get the upgrade to PS5, it hit 20 million units sold, which is ridiculous. The first 3 God of War games on PS2 and PS3 only combined for 11.5 million or so. So the fact that that's almost already doubled that, good on them. Ghost of Tsushima, the last big, it came out after Last of Us 2. The last big exclusive of the last generation has hit 5 million units. Again, same thing. So I will say the one good thing that just like Microsoft is doing is they're taking games towards the end of last generation and giving them that 4K upgrade that you can transfer everything over to PS5 and play on PS5. That's a big deal. And I think that's going to actually help push some of these games that were from the end of the generation on both systems. So good on them. Also, this is a first in a long time. Both Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Call of Duty dropped last week. I have not played either yet. I got a backlog for the first time in months, folks, because everything decided to come out here at the last moment. They are really drilling, by the way. But for the first time in physical sales, at least, has to be caveat. This is Europe. This is physical sales. Valhalla outsold Call of Duty. Now, again, I don't know if what happened digitally. I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there who are probably just downloading a lot of the game. I got everything digital myself. I haven't bought a physical copy of anything since March. Partially because of the pandemic, but partially also like going back to our earlier conversation, streaming is the future. I don't need these physical discs anymore. But that's a big deal that Call of Duty got beat in physical sales by Assassin's Creed Valhalla, especially because it kind of looks like I think folks are really starting to really feel that franchise fatigue we've been talking about for a couple of years now with Call of Duty, and it's really starting to creep in, I think.
It's 100% fatigue. This is one of those things I've been thinking of, because it's going to sound weirdly hypocritical, but it's not. All right. People don't know about the Cold War anymore, in my opinion. I don't think people read about it. I don't think it's talked about enough. I love the trailer, but it was a little scary. And I think Assassin's Creed, not saying a lot of people know about the Vikings.
Yeah.
But it's way more intriguing than the Cold War, if you really think about it. All right. Yeah. The trailer was better in terms of the what we saw. The Cold War trailer was really good, but it was spooky. Yes. And like I said, like Soviet Russia right now, I'm not sure that's a big check off on people. Man, I can't wait to do this. In 1980s, Soviet Union spy. Yeah. Ronald Reagan, it's like maybe they were trying to tap into the political card there a little bit too hard. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah. People are interested in this right now. It's like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
I would venture to say if I asked 10 people on the street, tell me about the Soviet Union, most of them would not know it's Russia at this point. So I hope I'm wrong, by the way. I really mean that.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. But I mean, we don't know. I don't know. It might not be far off, but so that's a big deal. And I think it's a good point too. Again, also though, we talked about this before, right? Assassin's Creed wisened up and was like, you know what? We're going to take a year off here. We're going to take a year off there. We do games in back-to-back years, year off. 2 years, year off. And it's really worked. And Call of Duty, I think it's been every year. And I think that while it still sells, it still makes a lot of money.
It does. It's got its audience, though.
It's got its audience for sure still, but it's also kind of like, I think a lot of us, for me, and again, I think I want to put it out there. Thank you. I got a code. I got a free code I should put out there for the game. So I actually didn't pay for Call of Duty, but I appreciate the folks who got me very, very much at Activision who got me those codes. I would not, if it wasn't for those codes, I would have held off on getting this game. Probably. Right. I would not have gotten it day one, like Spider-Man, like Assassin's Creed, like a lot of other things, because I kind of know it. I get it. I'm going to run through some corridors. I'm going to shoot some Russians, and then I'm going to go on multiplayer, and I'm going to get my butt kicked, and then I'm going to go play something else. Actually, not to be fair, I'm actually pretty good at Call of Duty multiplayer still, even though my reflexes are getting a little slow. But I'm not bad. I don't get my butt kicked as many might believe.
Go find them, friends.
I used to win a lot of the press tournaments. I used to be really good at Call of Duty, but I'm 35 years old now, and unfortunately, your reflexes start to slow. Twitch reflexes. The Twitch now the problem is, instead of twitching while I play games, I'm twitching all the other time when I'm not playing games. This is my shooting hand.
This is why
it's like look at my hand. They're like, that's amazing. It's like, yeah, but this is my shooting hand.
This is why I still play real sports, because I can at least claim some athleticism still for a few more years. Got it going.
But one last big sales number, and then we'll wrap up the video game segment and get back into sports. The Nintendo Switch sold 735,000 units in October. It is the second best October ever for any console, not just a Nintendo console, any console. Typically, of course, a lot of systems don't sell in October. Usually it's November when a lot of things are released. But that shows that A, people are still looking for a Switch during the pandemic. B, Nintendo still has some good games coming out. They still got some solid stuff. We mentioned earlier Hyrule Warriors. By the time this episode airs tomorrow, Hyrule Warriors will release it's the Calamity era, the 100 years before Breath of the Wild. So they've got some things. Obviously, Animal Crossing is breaking all kinds of records still. So good on Nintendo. While Microsoft and Sony are still trading blows, Nintendo's just kind of like, here's a Switch. Selling more
it's
Switches.
the handheld option. There's kids out of school. It makes a lot of sense. It's going to be a perfect gift. Expect those numbers to explode over the holidays because people will be able to find Nintendo Switches
and not find PlayStations and Xboxes.
Right. All right. Not to mention the games are getting better and better and better. That's not just a side system anymore. I mean, it's really good. My son plays his every day. Breath of the Wild was a great game. I think Hyrule Warriors is going to be really big. I think it's going to be a big release. And again, they've done some really cool things with their fan base with Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Super Mario 35, right?
Yep.
Like it's a community. Nintendo has its own community, and it's a different gaming audience. You know, Ray, I don't know if you feel this way. I find the Nintendo fans tend to be more into gaming in terms of like the entire gaming industry than maybe the PlayStation and the Microsoft fans do. Not saying that there's not people from Microsoft and PlayStation and Sony that don't, but I find that Nintendo fans tend to they really know the industry. They follow people. You know, they want to know what's going on in Japan. You know, I find that. So,
that's very true. That's actually a good point. Yeah, I think that Microsoft and Sony fanboys and I'm not saying that it's something bad to be a fanboy, but I'm saying that you can kind of get like a bit of a like this with your worldview. You put the blinders on a little bit and you focus in on certain things where, I think Nintendo, because of the games they make, because of the outlook they've had for many, many years with the games, and in terms of appealing to their audience. I mean, again, I also could be, I grew up, obviously, I was a Nintendo kid primarily growing up. I had a Genesis and I had, played other systems and stuff.
It always comes back to Nintendo, though.
It always comes back to Nintendo. And I think
today. Yeah.
I mean, and also so much of the industry owes itself to Nintendo and a lot of the things they did from Miyamoto to Inafune to everybody who's gone through there. Who has worked with them, or obviously like Miyamoto, obviously being the great architect. Inafune was Capcom with Mega Man. I'm trying to blank, and I'm Iwata. It's a lot of Japanese guys.
Let me save you here, Ray. Anyway, so no, what I was saying is, you're fine, Ray. You're fine. It's not easy.
It's I'm getting old, folks. I'm getting old. Koji Kondo. There's so many guys there, and
I'm gonna say this, that just to kind of round this conversation out. I remember when Sega started making games for Nintendo for the first time. It was really weird. It was really weird to see that. But that was the last great console war, was Nintendo versus Sega. This is prior to PlayStation, Xbox going at it. PlayStation was around, but it was new at the time.
Right.
I think you're going to start seeing Sony make games for Microsoft potentially in this generation if they're not careful. I don't think it will be, but it's going to happen. This is not close. These two systems are not close in terms of Xbox versus PlayStation, in my opinion. They're not close. There's a clear winner already.
Yeah.
You know, I know, again, Sony fanboys and fangirls, they don't agree with that, but it's not close.
No, it really feels like Sony rushed this system to get it out at the same time as Microsoft. That's what it feels like.
It's not close, and it's not going to be for long. I just, this was the last great try. Just the size of it tells you that it's not close.
Yeah, right? No, it's a monster. It's an ugly. But
it's big because they couldn't get it small. Right. That's why it's big. They didn't do this on purpose.
Yeah.
Right? And
whereas
Microsoft Thor's hammer.
Microsoft is smaller and more powerful.
That makes think about that.
And that says a lot.
Now, keeping in mind too, Microsoft is a computer company and Sony is not.
Right. Sony does a lot of different things for entertainment, for music and movies and all that other stuff.
So
and maybe it's time to start focusing back on that other stuff a little bit. By the way, really quick, don't put vape smoke in your your Xbox Series X. I wasn't going to mention it, but now that we're there.
That's the biggest tragedy of the Xbox, is people are putting vape smoke into their system. And then Xbox had to tweet. Yes. You can look this up. And the tweet said, "We can't believe we have to say this, but please do not blow vape smoke into the Xbox."
Yeah.
Idiots.
Yeah. I mean, and I get some of it is just also Sony fanboys trying to cause like a, oh, look, the Xbox is on fire. And it's like, no, it's not.
If you bought an Xbox to do that, you're an idiot.
You're an idiot, and you're also a jerk because you took it away from somebody who probably could have really wanted it and really used it, like me.
Like Ray.
So, yeah. So don't put vape smoke into your systems, folks. Like, honestly, not only are you going to avoid the warranty, so you're not going to get your money back, but you're also just a moron. You're just a moron. Anyway, speaking of video games, somebody who actually, as we're going to start slowly transitioning now into sports.
Good luck.
As we now going to start with wrestling. Which of course is the ultimate geek sports transition point.
We rely on wrestling quite a bit to transition.
Yes. But Zelina Vega, who we've talked about a couple times in this show, she's a women's wrestler, would come out dressed as Sindel and Jade and other video game characters a lot of times, depending on the pay-per-view. Also a very good wrestler. She was fired this week by Vince McMahon for coming out as pro-union. This is not the first time this has happened. Vince actually famously fired Jesse the Body Ventura for the same reason 35 years ago. So, but it's a shame that Vince, it seems that his opinions on certain things have not changed. I get it. He doesn't even have the monopoly anymore, but if he were to have, he still has the lion's share of the wrestling community. If the wrestlers were to unionize instead of to do things as contract to contract, it could potentially hurt his bottom line. So
it would not potentially hurt it. It would hurt it.
Right. So it would hurt his bottom line. And so anyone who has pro-union or has pro-union views and has expressed them publicly, well, it looks like Vega, we hope to see you at AEW soon. But it's just a shame that this happened and that Vince is still, again, I get it. I do that he's putting his money ahead of his people, but it's just, I don't know. It's a sad, to me, it's a sad story.
I'm conflicted on this one a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, again, like I look at it from multiple points of view. So one is, look, she tweeted this publicly, which means something happened that we don't know about. Like she didn't just decide one day, let me just tweet about unionizing wrestlers.
Right. Yeah.
There's probably an argument that happened, something behind the scenes. Again, we don't see
somebody
any
got
of this
hurt
stuff.
or something.
Something happened. Something happened that caused her to do that.
Contract negotiations, a variety of things. Yeah.
If I was playing devil's advocate here, and I am, Ray, I could make an argument. You had said that he cares about his money more than his wrestlers. I could say that, his wrestlers have a great life because of him and that he actually cares about them. And that's why he's willing to take control here. Mm-hmm. We have to remember this. WWE is a business. It is not democracy.
Yeah.
The McMahon family owns that. It's their business, and they will do anything they have to do to protect their business. It's very easy to sit back and say, well, just spread the wealth, give the money out, let them unionize. You're asking him to relinquish control of an empire that he built by doing that.
Yeah.
This is how these things work. I understand where he's coming from with that. And if the wrestlers feel wrong, they can get together and they can unionize. Yeah. People say, well, he's fear-mongering. Yes, he is. And there are labor laws in place to protect the wrestlers from that if they feel that they want to use the court system. Otherwise, he's created a multi-billion-dollar empire. Yeah. All right. That he is the CEO of for now. Right. And if he wants to protect his empire, that's his right to do so, whether I agree or disagree, whether you agree or disagree. So I just think there's more to the story. I think it's very simple on the surface and saying all she did was tweet and you fired her, which I'm not saying you said that, Ray. I'm just saying people are saying that. There's a lot more going on here than that. And it's like you have to kind of sit back and let it play out. But I can't fault Vince McMahon for protecting his business. I can't. Yeah. I can talk about the manner in which he's doing that, which I'm not going to do because I don't know enough. Right. But no, this is business. That's business. And again, you can bring in the evil CEO kind of mentality here, but he provides jobs and pays people millions of dollars. There's always two sides to that battle. I've always hated that the evil business owner, evil CEO, and like, don't get me wrong, there are evil CEOs out there. I'm not and
Vince always hasn't made the best decisions for his wrestlers either, right?
No, like he built an empire, and look, there's no Rock, there's no Hogan. There's a lot of wrestlers that aren't there without this guy. Yeah. Not to mention wrestling is not wrestling as an entity is not where it is without this guy. So
what I would be interested to see is if other federations, because you've had Ring of Honor come up now, Impact, you have AEW. If other federations, smaller federations, were to unionize,
don't expect to see that.
No, exactly, and I don't think so either, right? But like that's where you'd have to I think that's how it would start. if it looked like the momentum was turning and that there was a wrestling union started with these other federations, and then people started to leave Vince for the union,
then he'll have to,
then you would probably happen. I think that's where it would have to start.
Look at sports labor law, Major League Baseball. Look that up if you're really interested about this, or you want to have an informed opinion. If you just want to bitch about it, that's one thing. If you want an informed opinion, look at sports in the law. Look at labor law within sports. Look how the player unions and player associations were built.
Yep.
And you'll learn about how this has to happen. All right. Yeah. But I think especially when you look at how Major League Baseball, the NHL, and some of these other organizations treated their athletes prior to unionization, Vince McMahon is a saint compared to a lot of these people.
That's also true.
I do not think he treats his wrestlers like cattle. I think he really takes care of his wrestlers.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, for sure.
There are horror stories about commissioners and owners in Major League Sports before labor law came into play.
Yeah.
I'll give you one. Like NHL players didn't even know what each other's salaries were at one point.
Yeah.
So they could play them against each other. And they did. They did that with Ted Lindsay. That's how the Players Association was born, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But there's laws about this. Like in baseball. In baseball, a player couldn't sign anywhere else.
Yeah.
Reserve clause. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Owners could tell a player, you don't get to go anywhere unless I say so. There's no contract. If they don't renew your contract, that's it. And by the way, if they didn't renew your contract, your career is probably over.
Yeah.
Right. So they treated athletes horrendously, really bad. Vince does not do that. Okay. Yeah. So just again, like everything, we're pursuers of knowledge on this show. If you really have feelings about this, go look up sports labor law, go to Wikipedia. You can get the abridged version. All right. And study. Otherwise, shut up.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
You don't have to shut up.
And Vince, as always, when a guy's contract is up, if he doesn't re-sign them, they go elsewhere.
Yeah.
You see that and you've seen that a lot. That's why a lot of guys are going to AEW. If Vince isn't doing if they're not happy with Vince, they go elsewhere. Look, again, Miro is now at AEW. A lot of guys are jumping over. Also, by the way, funny thing is that sometimes also the contracts for the names will expire before Vince will. So if a lot of folks don't realize this is actually a fun story. And John Cena said this years ago on Howard Stern, and people didn't understand it, where it's basically like, he's like, Vince McMahon owns the name John Cena as a wrestler. John Cena is his actual name, but he has so on legal documents and all that stuff, it's still John Cena, but as an entity, if he was to promote himself in certain ways as like WWE's John Cena, that is owned by Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he owns royalties at that point.
So what actually funny thing is that happened this week at AEW is that for the first year of AEW's existence, Cody Rhodes could only call himself Cody. And everyone's like, well, what's going on? It's like, well, no, Vince McMahon, even though obviously he is the son of the great Dusty Rhodes, and because he went to another federation, he can't use his own name because as a wrestler, because Vince owns it until that expired a week ago. They actually made a big deal on air where people were congratulating him, being like, congratulations, Cody Rhodes. Congratulations on being able to call yourself your own name again because Vince let the contract expire on Cody.
I'm going to say it again. He's a businessman. He's making business decisions, and it's on him. If the wrestlers want to rise up against him, they have the right to do that. So, but I'll tell you right now, Vince McMahon has no problem sacrificing a Vega to let every wrestler in the federation, the entertainment, World Wrestling Entertainment, to let every one of them know that if you do this, you're gone.
Yep.
You're fired.
Yeah. So
John Cena.
Yeah. But speaking of tickets, it was an interesting story. Speaking of tickets and things sold, you typically would buy tickets to a sporting event or to a concert or whatever. Ticketmaster is one of the main ways you would go there still, even though it's online. And they said that this is interesting that before they will sell you a ticket in 2021, as events start to happen again, they're going to require proof that you've been vaccinated. That once everything gets underway and everything starts to return to quote unquote normal. Again, a vaccine, I think, is going to go a long, long way to us getting back there, especially if they haven't heard, there have been 2 vaccines, both have over 90% efficiency, effective rate, which is huge and game-changing for a variety of reasons, and it's just great news. But it's still going to take us 6 to 9 months till we get most of the population vaccinated and whatnot. But because of that, Ticketmaster's like, it's great we have a vaccine. we're going to probably require proof before we sell you tickets, because the last thing we want is to be the reason that there's another super spreader event at a Jay-Z concert or a WWE show or a Chargers versus Broncos game, you know? So I thought that was a good story. I think it was a responsible thing to do by them, even though, again, that could also, at least in the short term, affect their bottom line. Lee, what are your thoughts?
I think that there is a impending battle between anti-vaxxers and people that need to be vaccinated with this vaccine. I will tell you all, I will get a vaccine once we know it's a good vaccine.
Yes.
I have no problem. Ticketmaster's a business. I've got no problem. This is a responsible thing to do. A lot of people will be screaming, my freedom, my freedom. You have the freedom not to go to a sporting event. You do not have the freedom to tell a business how to run itself.
Yep.
Right. So yes, I don't want to be in an arena with people that aren't vaccinated. This isn't like the X-Men with mutants.
Yeah.
All right. If you are unvaccinated and you could be potentially carrying this and make another super spreader event, I don't really want to be there. I think sports are going to have a hard time filling stadiums for the first year back. I think the first games will sell out, but I don't think they're going to stay that way. I really don't.
No, unless they think a lot of these places also do something similar where they're going to require proof of vaccination.
I have no problem with that. I think if it's done in a discreet way, you know, like we don't need to be calling out people that aren't vaccinated, but I'm just saying that, like, look, this is going to be another great issue of can you do it? But here's the deal. Operation Warp Speed with the military, they are ready to distribute this vaccination nationally. I think that I actually do believe.
They're talking as early as December.
Well,
with the Moderna one.
This is what I think. I think that I was talking earlier in the show about things we can be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
If we can make sure we don't politicize this too much, and get together, I think the speed at which this country could get vaccinated could make us a shining light to the world again. Yeah. Because that is something that is I know we can do that, right? I don't think Europe is going to have the easiest time doing that.
No.
And some of the other countries over there. So I think if we can do that and kill this virus as fast as possible.
Yeah.
All right. And make no mistake, there's people that want to wait until after there's the peaceful transition of power to do this. I want it done as fast as I don't care when it is. I just want to get it done.
Yeah.
Right. I don't care who gets credit for it. The American people should get credit for.
Yeah. The doctors and the scientists who made this should get credit for this.
Yes, but we're not there yet, I guess. But like I said, that would be a really cool unification point of just, hey, listen, let's do this together. If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's fine, but you're not going to get to go to certain things. It sounds harsh, but I just don't have a problem with that. I don't.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
I don't want a kid in school if he's not vaccinated. I'm being honest. It's my opinion. I'm allowed to say it.
Look, I mean, we were starting to see that anti-vax movement again, not too political, a few years ago with we had measles outbreaks. Again, we had almost I hadn't heard of a measles outbreak almost my entire life until a few years ago at Disneyland and a few other places, because you have these people now who have been misinformed.
I will tell you this, and again, there are going to be people who disagree with me on this. There is no legitimate research that proves vaccines are bad. There is falsified research. There is lots of rumors. There is no one has been able to send me anything real that has said that vaccines are bad. I have seen plenty of real things because everybody thinks the Illuminati is a thing. I have seen plenty of things about how vaccinations have saved billions or trillions of lives over the course of history and taken polio away and lots of things like that, which is a champion of medicine. All right. So please stop. Or leave me alone. Stay away from me. That's
serious. Yeah, exactly. Just go away. Go lock yourself away from the rest of the world.
Go complain about Baby Yoda eating eggs.
Yes.
And don't get your vaccine.
Also, the Illuminati.
I'll be over here.
Also, the Illuminati is real. Okay. Joking. That's obviously fake. I just made that up. I thought
this will be the last episode of Geeks Who Likes. Oh my! He's watching me.
Anyway,
take a $1 bill and look at the pyramid.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Exactly. That's exactly. See, like the eye with the pyramid of the eye. Oh. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're joking, folks.
Let me put on my smart glasses to see that a little carefully. Hold on. There we go.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh goodness. So moving on now to actual sports. It was a big week in the NFL.
Finally.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
actual
Only my football for those of you watching.
Football, the only sport that's actually being played right now, for a variety of reasons. Obviously, because hockey and basketball
Old McGregor ball
sooner rather than later. But some big games. The Patriots upset the Ravens in the rain. Looked like they started to find a run game because they know they can't rely fully on Cam Newton. But that defense.
We're saying the Patriots upset. That's funny.
No, seriously. I mean, to be fair, they're also a couple plays away from being a really good team. If that goal line stand against the Seahawks, if they convert there, they win that game. And then Cam Newton doesn't fumble against Buffalo in that last drive, they probably win that game.
Yeah, I didn't see Newton being this bad. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? I thought Newton would be a huge deal there, but he's not.
Yeah, no, he's struggling, but the team's 4-5, not out of it. The Vikings beat the Bears. The Bears are falling like a stone. They have come back to earth. They are who we thought they were before the season started.
Who we thought they were.
Their defense is very good. Their offense is abysmal. Nick Foles got a badly concussed yesterday, was taken out of the game for the last drive. Mitchell Trubisky will go back in, I believe, at some point. I think, honestly, I don't think Trubisky should have ever – no offense to Nick – but I don't think Trubisky should have been – maybe that game against Atlanta, but Foles excels when he has very little prep time and can kind of just like come in as a relief pitcher sometimes. Trubisky should be your future. I think the Nick Foles experiment by hook or by crook, I think, is over. I called this.
I've said it, but that's fine.
Yeah. No, Foles started, I think, 3-0 with the Bears, and now he's lost 4 in a row.
A starter. I've said that, and I hate. I love Nick Foles for obvious reasons, but he is not a starter. Yeah. He is the greatest backup in history. That's what he is.
Yeah, he's now 3-4 as the Bears starter, and it'll be somebody else next week after this injury. So,
I hate saying it. I love you, Nick. Yeah. I love what you did for my city, but he's had one good season as a starter in his career.
Yes. The Dolphins continue to impress. Tua Tagovailoa has won his third start.
You stumbled on the name, but you recovered. I'll give you that.
Tua has won again. He's looked much better the past couple of weeks. Yes. So the Dolphins improved. Actually, third in a row. He's 3-0, 6-3. The Dolphins are on the cusp of a playoff spot.
How do you feel about Fitzpatrick now with that? Because we talked about this when he was replaced.
Yeah,
that we didn't think it was the right move at the time. And
but they're winning.
We talked about they probably would win too. The question is, would they have won without their quarterback? But look, he's the franchise quarterback, and looks right now. So we'll see.
We will see. Talking about franchise quarterbacks, Kyler Murray having an amazing sophomore campaign. They're calling it the Hail Murray as he throws a Hail Mary to the end zone with 2 seconds left. DeAndre Hopkins beats triple coverage to beat the Bills. That throws a wrench into a lot of playoff pictures. Folks, the Arizona Cardinals are in first place in the NFC West. That is a fact because they have all the tiebreakers against the Rams and the Seahawks, who are also 6-3 after the Rams made the Seahawks look real bad this weekend.
What is it about that field in miraculous catches?
I don't know.
That's like the fourth miraculous. Catch. The helmet catch. That I believe there was another Hail Mary by Pittsburgh in that place.
I think also Green Bay. That was also the one. Green Bay
it was Green Bay. It was Green Bay. They threw it was Aaron Rodgers threw a Hail Mary there. It's something about that field. Maybe the air there.
I don't know.
Or God-like plays.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But Murray, a great job. The Bills thought an amazing job. Diggs makes an amazing catch in the end zone with 21 seconds left. The Bills think they win. They beat a very good Arizona team in Arizona. And then, Arizona gets to midfield and bombs Hail Murray. And that also happened with Washington versus Detroit. Detroit State keeps their slim playoff hopes alive, improved to 4-5 as Washington ties the game with about 30 seconds left. Not even. I think it might have been also 21 seconds or something. It might have been and Matthew Stafford gets them to the Washington 40 in 15 seconds. And Prater hits a 58-yard field goal to give. And mind you, Detroit was up 24-3 at one point in that game. So also credit to Alex Smith, possibly comeback player of the year, getting that Washington team back to tie that game twice. Before Detroit pulls it out. So some really amazing finishes at the end of some games. Cleveland beat Houston 10-7 in what was a terrible game. That game was delayed because of rain and the field was horrendous, and both those teams looked terrible. Jacksonville finds a new way to lose to Green Bay. Green Bay should not have been as close a game as it was. That's talking about a good team in Green Bay playing down to their competition.
Right.
The Saints win against the Niners, who are falling apart at the seams. But the Saints also might be in trouble after Drew Brees breaks 5 ribs and punctures his lung. They think he can play next week. I think they're full of garbage. I don't know about you guys. I never had a punctured lung before, but it sounds like that's something that's really tough to play football with.
Yes.
Yes.
Some might say that.
Tampa Bay doubled up Carolina 46-23. They absolutely, Tom Brady, of course, having a bounce back game. Very rare for Tom Brady to have 2 bad games in a row. He stunk against New Orleans, beat up on Carolina.
Right.
And of course, the final game on the docket.
What was the final game this week, Ray? I can't figure it out. What is it?
The Giants versus the Eagles. Oh yeah, absolute. It was an absolute. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was a terrible game by both teams, but particularly the Eagles.
My favorite part. Yeah, this is the NFC East in a nutshell.
Genuinely,
I'll fade it out slow.
Yeah, the Giants won by 10. But for those who think that the Giants look,
wait, Ray. Oh my God, Ray! There's a giant monkey on my back.
Yeah,
look at that. Oh man, for those of you listening, I just put a gigantic monkey on my back. It's the New York Giants monkey, even though it's yellow.
The Giants finally broke their 8-game losing streak against the Eagles.
I think this makes an annoying sound.
That is an annoying sound. Yeah.
That's what this game. This is me at my TV this weekend.
Yeah. It was me too for a lot of the game.
This is Ray when they won the game.
Yeah.
There's so many applications.
Well, what I love is I was texting Lee the whole time, and I'm like, even though we're up by 10, I'm like, this is right where the Eagles got us right where they want us. We're going to fall into the miracle trap again.
Nope. Here's the stat for me. Philadelphia Eagles, 0 third down conversions in the game.
Yeah.
Haven't done that in 20 years. Can't win a game if you don't convert on third down. I don't care how good you are.
Credit to the Giants defense.
Giants. Yeah. And again, the Eagles made some weird decisions. A lot of teams making weird decisions against the Giants defense, who are a pro defense.
They keep, again, the Giants, right? People keep thinking that because our offense is terrible, that our defense isn't going to play.
Both quarterbacks didn't throw an interception somehow.
Yeah.
Which is like, these are the teams they would do that against.
The first time in Daniel Jones' career that he went back-to-back games without a turnover.
But that's not the best stat here, Ray. That's not the best stat. Suddenly, the New York Giants are a win away from being tied or in first place.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. And we talked about this. We talked about that somehow you are still alive, even though you were in last place for most of the season. We talked about this weeks ago. That's why I'm not like upset, because we've been saying like this is possible. We said last week on the show, if the Giants win this game, they're very much in it.
Yeah.
Now listen, if we're just looking at schedules, if we're just looking at paper stuff here, Eagles have an easier schedule and a better chance to win the division. But the Giants are alive, therefore bringing Ray's hopes up to a 7 out of 10, which means he will inevitably be crushed, or they will win the Super Bowl, because that's how the Giants work.
I mean, honestly, what it looks like is going to happen. I'm being completely serious, folks. If I look at the schedules remaining for both teams, the Giants will finish 5-11, and the Eagles will finish 5-10-1 and win that division because of that dang tie. Because the Giants actually now have the tiebreakers with the Eagles because they beat them by more points, and the Giants have more divisional wins.
What a bad division. It's funny. Here's a funny thing for you, Ray. I was not this week, but the week before, we won. Who did we beat? We beat you. We beat the Giants, and it was a horrible game. Yeah, right? This is 2 games ago.
The 22-21 game.
Yeah. Right, and I was wearing my Eagles hoodie the next day, right? And I'm proud of the Eagles. It's the Salute to Service hoodie. I'm really proud of that hoodie. I love it. Salutes to service, everything. And I remember, this is Philadelphia for you, right? We're in first place. We won the game. well, that's brave wearing that today.
Yeah.
That's what people in Philadelphia are like, yeah, okay, get away your Eagles shirt. What, do you think they're good or something? I'm like, no, just, appreciate the Eagles. And we did win us a Super Bowl 2 years ago, and we're in first place and we won the game. Yeah, well, that's grand. I was like, wow, we really do hate our teams in this city. And I'm going to wear that sweatshirt everywhere I go now.
Yeah. So, and this is to be true. Honestly, this could come down to the fact that the Eagles have the Cowboys in Washington the last 2 weeks of the season,
which are must wins, by the way.
Yeah, because
those teams will be looking to play spoiler.
Because Philly plays Cleveland next week. That's a winnable game, but you could also lose it.
Yeah.
That could really go either way, depending on what Cleveland team shows up. Then you play the Seahawks.
And Eagles team. What Eagles team shows up?
Well, yeah. Then you play the Seahawks. That's going to be a tough game. The Packers. That's going to be a tough game.
We are not winning either one of those games. Well, here's the thing. The Eagles did play up against the 49ers. That was a shock to everybody.
Right.
So if they do that, I think those teams need to win too. And I think that this late in the season, I can't see it.
And then the Saints
are beating them. Excuse me. Yeah.
And then the Saints and the Cardinals, who the Cardinals showed yesterday. The Cardinals are pretty dang good.
Right.
Which means, like we said, it could come down to the fact that you guys are playing the Cowboys in Washington the last 2 weeks.
If I'm Doug Peterson and the Eagles, it's like, guys, you got to win one of those 4 non-divisional games. You got to just squeak one out because that's going to probably secure the division.
And the thing with the Giants is, so let's look at the Giants' remaining schedule. They play the Bengals, who you guys tied. I think the Giants could win that game. What do you mean no? What do you mean you're shaking your head?
Nothing. You guys are due for a loss now.
Probably, but that'll probably come the week after that. Then the Giants head to Seattle. They'll lose to the Seahawks. They'll lose to the Cardinals, I believe. Again, then they play the Browns. Don't know what is going to happen there.
Yeah.
They'll lose to the Ravens for sure. And then the Giants, if the Giants beat the Bengals and the Browns, the Giants could be playing for the division against the Cowboys the last week of the season and possibly going for a 6-10 record. Folks, that's legitimately.
Yeah.
I think that's how bad our division is. 6 wins, first to 6. That's the race, first to 6.
I'm gonna put this out here. I don't like to make predictions, but I believe the Giants will fall on their face.
Oh, I believe that too, folks. I'm putting it out. I'm saying it's possible, but let's
feel
be
bad
real.
saying that, Ray, to you, but I do. I think
the
Eagles have a stronger team, and it's like, again, I can't explain why they're playing so poorly, but
the Giants have a bye. The Giants, I think, are going to lay an egg out of the bye against Cincinnati. I think that, look, honestly, this is what Giants like to do. They make you a little excited about the team, and now they're going to finish 4-12. They're going to win one more game the rest of the year.
Again, if I look at it, and again, Ray, I'm not rooting against the Giants. It's just I think the Eagles have a stronger team, and if they can figure it out, they're going to start winning. I also think that
you're also up a game and a half in the loss column.
It's true, and look, here's the other thing too: is as you get deeper in the season. You're playing a lot of teams that have to win games now. It's a little different earlier in the season. Some teams are overlooking the Giants playing down to their level, right? You know what I mean? And I don't think anyone's going to do that. And like I said, here's the thing: if you get down to that last game, it's you Cowboys for a playoff spot. Cowboys are not. I mean, dude, this always happens in our division where a team plays spoiler and ruins it for everyone else. So we'll see. This is how I describe it. It's mildly entertaining.
Yes.
It's not exciting. It's just mildly entertaining because it's kind of weird that we're still like, oh, okay. But I don't really like waking up on Sundays. Like, okay, who are we losing to today?
No, for sure.
And the Eagles dropped the ball big time. Not literally, but they dropped the ball in this game. We could have won the division with this game.
You would have put the division away with this game right here.
And they didn't convert 1 third down.
Yeah.
Which is incredible when you think about it. That's a stat of a losing team. That's a stat of a losing team.
And again, folks, we've said it before. The Giants have a top 5 defense. They do. Don't underestimate the defense at your own peril. Offense, that's understandable. We have a bottom 3 offense, but we have a top 5 defense.
That's true.
And even the offense showed up this week, sort of. Yeah, it was an absolute disaster of a game. Moving on now to some baseball news. Yeah. So that's our football. Oh, actually, one more football story. Actually, I almost forgot. This was actually fascinating, and it has to do with the Giants. Even though he's not going to re-sign with them, DeAndre Baker, who we talked about weeks ago, for the robbery case, all the charges have been dropped against him because
of a horrible
because the lawyer, the prosecuting lawyer of the witnesses, has been found guilty of fraud charges. He's going to lose his legal license. And so the case against Baker is getting thrown out. What a crazy, I mean, the dude is out of football. He's technically a free agent. The Giants let him go.
Someone will pick him up.
I imagine, that's what I'm saying. Somebody who needs secondary help. He was a first-round draft pick. He's been cleared of all charges. Look, if Antonio Brown can find a home in Tampa Bay, which, by the way, also charges have not been pressed against him for misdemeanor vandalism for breaking a security camera at his apartment complex because he just can't stop being a stupid moron. But no charges. And so the Bucs are like, look, he's an outstanding citizen. No charges. Most of us don't have charges pressed against us in our day-to-day life.
Remember Chris Rock? You ain't supposed to be in jail.
Right.
I'm a good guy. You're not supposed to be in jail.
Yeah, exactly. So DeAndre Baker back on the free agent market.
Reminds me of Back to the Future, alternate universe 2015. It's like, well, the court system moves a lot faster now that they've abolished all the lawyers.
Yes. Unbelievable. So
By the way, that was 5 years ago.
An unbelievable story. Yeah.
Back to the Future 2 that took place in the future is now 5 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, where's
Cubs
my
hoverboard? Cubs would win that World Series.
They did win the World Series. That was crazy. That was super close. Yeah, that was insane. Yeah. But yeah, so now that does it for football. Now moving on to baseball. Some baseball stories.
Finally, some news in baseball I want to talk about.
Yeah. Just really quickly, brief congratulations, Shane Bieber and Trevor Bauer win the Cy Youngs.
Yep,
Trevor
great.
Bauer, it's the first, I couldn't believe this. The first time a Cincinnati Red, the oldest franchise in baseball, that they won a Cy Young. It's the first time. So that was an unbelievable stat for me.
That is unbelievable. And they've had some great pitchers there too.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, some great teams, obviously some world championship teams, and they've never had a Cy Young until crazy Trevor Bauer, who did deserve it, by the way. To me, he was the best pitcher in the National League this year.
Easily.
Especially down the stretch. Yeah.
But baseball's doing it again. As soon as I make me hate them, they want me to bring me back in.
Yeah. And also congrats to Jose Abreu and Freddie Freeman winning the MVPs. It's the first time a White Sox has won an MVP since Frank Thomas. Wow. So when he won back-to-back, and I believe it was 93, 94. So just good on them.
Just a monster batter. Unbelievable.
But the great story out of baseball.
It's bigger than great. We got to build it up more than that.
This is game changing. It's not just baseball. Yeah. This is all sports.
This is tectonic plate moving. That's how I would describe this. This is major.
Yes. And now, and it needs to be, so the Marlins, looking for a new GM, they have hired Kim Ang. Kim is the first woman and the first Asian American to be a general manager in baseball, and I believe the first woman to be a general manager in all sports in North America. In
the major male-dominated sports. I think that's how we have to say. I mean, there are plenty of really great female GMs in WNBA, and other female-led sports, especially even like the NWHL. But when it comes to baseball, football, basketball, and hockey, which is the big four, I don't care what anybody says. This is a massive glass ceiling that has been not just shattered, but blown through. And it's awesome. Go ahead, Ray. I'll let you finish.
But yeah, so she's clearly qualified, by the way. She's been in baseball for almost 30 years. She was part of the Yankee front office under Brian Cashman from 1998 to 2001 that won those championships. I wonder if that actually helped Jeter make his decision to hire her. There might be some
guarantee it.
I'm going to say, yes, there might be some familiarity there.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did so she's super qualified. Congratulations to her. The Marlins continue, breaking down a huge barrier across, all sports for this. She did, and yeah, she's again super qualified, and she's been in the analytics. She's been in front offices across baseball for years. She's a baseball lifer. We talk a lot of times with baseball that it's an all boys club, an old boys club, right? But she's a baseball lifer too. She's been in the game for 27 years. I believe 1993 was when she broke in as an intern. And you know what? I already kind of half root for the Marlins in some ways because of Don Mattingly as their manager. And also they're just the plucky underdog. They're just nobody expected them to do anything this year, and obviously they did it. They had a tremendous run to the playoffs, beat the Cubs in the first round before losing in the next round. They're probably a couple of pieces away from being legit, a legit threat going forward. But she's gonna be the one to get those pieces. So Kim Ang, congratulations on breaking all these barriers and really finally a good baseball story.
Yeah, after multiple years of horrendous ones. A few things on this. There's two ways of the story, and Ray, you covered them both beautifully. One is her as a GM. How will she be as a GM? Clearly qualified. I won't say the name, but we had somebody on our page say that this is a gimmick and it's not going to work and they're just doing it. No, sir. No, this is a qualified hire, number one. And there are many qualified women to be GMs in sport. I'll tell you that right now. So I do not agree with that statement. That's where I stand. Ray is obviously in agreement with me on that. So number one, she will probably be a great GM. Derek Jeter does not hire anything less than greatness when it comes to that position.
Yep.
He's not done an amazing job with the Marlins yet, but they did make the playoffs this year. And
they are starting to turn the corner.
Something right. Okay, that's number one. I do want to comment on this being a female, the first female in a major professional sport. Mm-hmm. To be able to look at my wife or my daughter or Caitlin, our producer, or any female that is, striving, I'll put it that way. I cannot put myself in your position to feel how it must feel to see Kim Ang standing in that position. As men, we take this for granted on a daily basis. We think we deal with lots of pushback as men. It's been 100 years, and I'll say this is actually not political at all. It's been 100 years. We have a female vice president. We have a female. Yeah. And my politics aside, I'm proud to have a female vice president. Okay. Whether I agree with her on anything or not is irrelevant with that one. We have a female GM. If I was a woman, which I am not, to be able to see that and know it's possible, I don't think as men, we understand that. Yeah. All right. I think the closest thing we get to that is looking at professional athletes and saying, hey, I could do that one day. It's never happened before this week for women. Yeah. It was just a dream, and it's not a dream anymore. All right. Yeah. And we are proud to be able to talk about this. If you could have seen how Caitlin, our producer, responded to this, I mean, it was a major moment for her. It was really cool for us to see. Actually, if anything, it inspired us and educated us too. Because, we saw the reaction. I told my wife, and she was blown away by that. I'm proud that I have a daughter that's going to grow up in a world where some of these ceilings are gone already. My daughter will never know a world where it's not possible to be a pro sports GM, a pro athlete, vice president, eventually president one day. All right. Yeah. So a woman will become president at some point.
Yes.
And she'll grow up in that world. And I'm proud. You guys are looking for positives in 2020. There is a lot of positives coming out of 2020. It's mostly negative.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot.
There's a lot of things happening right now that you just kind of have to it depends on what you focus on.
We're going through some growing pains for sure as a culture and as a society, but they're good. Right. They're for the better.
Like I said, politics aside, fandom aside, a woman vice president, a woman GM, female, it's a huge deal. Yeah. As the father of a daughter, I'm starting to not understand, and I'm being judgy here, I think, but I don't understand how there can be fathers of daughters out there that don't see this and go, wow, that's powerful for my daughter. Yeah. I don't understand that. That's just me talking, but it's amazing. I don't want to get lost on just the fact that she's a female. And she should be, I'll say this too. She should absolutely be judged on her ability to be a GM.
Oh, for sure.
A good GM. And if she's bad, she'll get fired like anybody else.
Right.
So, but I'm rooting for her unless she's playing the Phillies. Sorry. And then it's a good note to end the season on. I actually don't think this got enough press. It got good press, but I don't think it got enough press.
No, I agree. Yeah.
All right. And again, it was reported as the first female GM in baseball. It's bigger than that.
It's bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised, but maybe that's the last baseball. It's screwed up somehow.
Yeah.
Manfred. I can't say that guy. I'm not saying it's powerful to watch, but I'm proud of sport for letting, and Derek Jeter for having the guts to do it, to
Yeah.
help him with, and obviously Kim Ang for dedicating her life to baseball,
Yeah.
and being first through again for both Asian Americans and females. Humongous. I really can't say enough about it. I hope I'm not overdoing it. I'm just
well, I
really
mean, and just
proud
think
of
again,
people.
she's like I said earlier, she's a baseball lifer. She's been in the game for 30
Right.
years.
Right.
Imagine the difficulties that she had over those 30 years.
Right.
Like coming in as in her early 20s and having to try and claw her way up through barriers that none of us would ever, or I should say, me and Lee would probably never have even thought of. And whatnot.
We celebrate women on this show. We've had other female coaches on before. All right, we've had other female guests. We're all about it. We want to be part of the. We want to walk hand in hand, side by side. If anything, behind them, pushing them forward. So that's where we stand. Proud to be a sports fan, because I will not say baseball today, and it brings me pride to be able to report on this. I mean that.
Yeah. So that brings us to the part of the show where we typically have a mashup or a question of the week.
We do.
And Lee, I really hope you pulled something out of your butt today, buddy, because we forgot to make one before the show.
I kind of did. Right.
Okay.
So this is more of a question than a mashup, to be fair.
That works.
Right.
Question of the week works.
One of the greatest things about Assassin's Creed is the different time periods that we get to play in. Right. Ray, you and I have discussed this a lot in other projects we've been working on, but I want to know what time period have we not visited in a game that you'd love to play a game in? Right. I think we did do a mashup a long time ago, like what era of a previous sport, like old time football and stuff we've done, but we actually didn't do that with gaming. What time period in gaming have we not visited that you think would be a great time period for the game? And it has to be in the past. It cannot be the future.
Yeah, I mean, and what's interesting is we've started to have a lot of the boxes checked, right? Like we've had ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, Ghost of Tsushima did feudal Japan,
which was awesome.
It was amazing. Absolutely love that game. So we are starting to. I mean, we even had prehistoric games at this point. Some good, some bad. Like
Turok.
So,
Turok
was something different. But
oldie but goldie. I want dinosaurs with freaking laser beams on their head. That's what that game was. What do we get to fight him with? A bow and arrow and a knife. Oh.
Yeah.
How many bow and arrows does it take to kill? Just one. Oh, okay. We're cool.
Yeah. Aim for the laser beam. But yeah, so I mean, we've had, like, again, Far Cry Primal was a prehistoric idea.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for what time period, I would probably, like, even that we've had, I'm listening, we've had the Renaissance, we've had so many of the World War, all the World Wars.
It's tough. That's why it's a good question.
It is a good question.
I knew what I was going to ask. So let me dive in first, because I had a minute to think about it. Because to be fair, you did lay this on me.
To be fair, I didn't remember. It's both our faults, right? It's both our faults. But I remembered it like 5 minutes, like during the football segment, and I'm like,
I've been thinking about this. So I have a few. It's just the problem is that games haven't been done in these times because I think it's either too touchy of a subject or it's really dark. Right. But the two that come to my mind, I'm going to be dark here. All right, one is the Crusades. All right, and the Crusades are really hard because they span 200 years. Right. But I think there's the ability to make something there. The other problem with it is this: it's a religious war of literally biblical proportions.
Yeah.
So if I was a developer, I wouldn't want to touch that because you're just going to offend somebody no matter what. But I think the Crusades would actually be, if someone could pull it off. Like just so you know, this is what you don't do. Choose your religion: Catholic, Muslim, Jew. Like, that's not how you do a game like that. All right? That's not how you'd want to do it. But there could be a way to do that I think could be pretty epic. The other time period, and this is kind of a merger because they're both around the same time. The Russian Revolution is an amazing time period.
I was thinking about that. Yeah. Funny enough, Assassin's Creed has touched on both of those briefly.
Yeah, but not enough. Right. I'm talking about like Nicholas being taken out of power, which was again, brutal. and the rise of Lenin and the Soviet Union. Again, we've had games with echoes, even a lot of GoldenEye was an echo of that time period,
right?
In the Soviet Union, but like the actual true Russian Revolution. So the reason why that time is intriguing to me, and I think this could actually be an interesting story, is my grandmother, who was born in what was Russia at the time. I believe it was Belarus now. It's Belarus now. Back then, it was all one country.
Right.
Escaped Russia during the Russian Revolution. And I have her on camera talking about this, but she tells me about the day they left, a Jewish family. Okay. And she walked out of her house and there was a soldier with a bayonet outside of her house. And then she trekked a year across Russia and Europe to get to Canada and eventually the United States, a year on foot. In the first half of the year, if the family was caught, let's just say I wouldn't be here. All right. Yeah. She wouldn't have been here, to freedom. Not only is that a great story, that's a game I would play in honor of my family. All right. Obviously, it wasn't just my grandmother. It was my grandmother, her sister, my great grandmother, right, coming over to meet my great grandfather. All right. There's a lot there. That would be an amazing story to play. And this is what's funny, right? And this is where I'm pro games. Obviously, you hate games, which is amazing. But no, I'm pro games. Here's the thing. It's like, some people would say, well, that's kind of disrespectful. You want to play this game. No, I want to be able to be in my grandmother's footsteps and play. The best part of gaming is you get to experience life through somebody else. One of our really good friends, Gordon Bellamy, really made me realize that. But like even a game like Miles Morales, we don't talk about this enough, right? You're playing as a Hispanic black man. Yeah. Right. That's a big deal. Yeah. It's a big deal that as a white person, we can do that. Yeah. And we are fantasizing about being him. Again, we talked about putting yourself in a woman's shoes, right? This puts us in the shoes of something we can never experience. Yeah. Maybe as close as we get. And it's a game. So, I mean, the game takes liberties not to make it rough, right? So without going too far into that, I would like to honor my grandmother, Grandma Betty, as I called her. Her name was Rivka in Russian. But that would be an amazing trek to me. And then I'm not going to go into this one too, but there are not enough World War I games. The reason being is that it's trench warfare and there wasn't much moving on the front at all. Yeah. I think that's such a scapegoat that there's not a great World War I game. Yeah. No, I think one of the, either Call of Duty, somebody tackled it once. Yeah, there have been a couple, but not nearly as much as World War II and other wars. So, and to be fair, also I like a Korean. We've never had a Korean War game. That's right. Or Nam for that matter. We had, I think we had a Nam skin with Battlefield, but I don't think we actually had true Nam. No. I mean, that's a question for you at home. Would you play a game, a war game that we lose? Call of Duty Black Ops touches on Nam a bit. Yeah. Like there's some missions there, but it's not a full focus. Yeah. Think about that. Right. Again, these are not popular wars like World War II was. Yeah. All right. And again, I said Russian Revolution / World War I. They're also not American-led wars. I mean, what I mean by that is Nam was and Korea was, but World War I, America did not participate in that until the very end. Yeah. All right. So I think some really great stuff could be made there, especially the Russian Revolution. I think that's an incredible time in Russian history, the dawn of the Soviet Union. You could totally fight as a freedom fighter for Nicholas. There's a lot you could do there. The Tsar, former Tsar, before Lenin took over, who was brutally murdered. I'll spare you all that story because there's just nothing happy about it. But that's my pick, Russian Revolution, because I think it's safer than the Crusades. No, that's fair. For me, this was touched upon a little bit in Ghost of Tsushima, but it's a little farther advanced. But I would like to go back to Genghis Khan. Right. That's a good one, man. Like maybe Marco Polo. Yeah, exactly. Like these massive world conquerors, and exactly. Yeah, we're such conquerors and explorers, and I think that would be interesting because again, that's also things that we haven't. Genghis or Kublai Khan would work as a game. Really, that's a great call. That's a great call because we haven't really explored those time periods very much. Again, Ghost of Tsushima touches on that a little bit and how it touched on Japan specifically, but that all of Asia, they conquered all of Asia, and how that influenced areas like Mesopotamia and things like that. Let me tell you my favorite stat about Genghis Khan. All right, this is a true stat. You can look this up. Okay, I don't want to call them a regime. Genghis Khan's armies, that empire, okay, killed so many people. This is the true stat. They massacred and killed so many people that it physically lowered the temperature of the planet.
Yeah.
That's what it is to conquer Asia.
Yeah.
All right. And Asia, for those of you who don't know, is gigantic.
Yeah, it's the biggest continent. Yeah.
It is. All right. Habitable.
Yeah.
So it is an amazing time period in history. I do want to say, I think one of the Dynasty Warrior games kind of touched on that. I can't remember.
Probably a little bit, but they weren't as historical.
Not a true game.
They weren't like truly historical.
It's a hack and slash.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's like Hyrule Warriors coming out this week.
Yes, coming out tomorrow. So,
but I hope that was a good question of the week. I do want to tease
fun.
this because Ray, we teased at the beginning and we teased at the end before I let you close. Yes. The NHL did release their reverse retro jerseys by Adidas. We have done a full review, hour-long episode. Had a lot of fun doing it. You will not be bored. It is labeled by division if you just want to know what we thought of your division.
Yep.
Ray and I also ranked them from 31 down.
Yes.
You can find that on geekslakesports.com or look for your local listings on your internet and find that podcast, listen to it, watch it. Preferably you watch it because we do have all the jerseys out there with us.
Yes.
But it's a nighttime of entertainment. When you're not doing it, do not do it Friday night between 8 and 9 p.m. That's when we do the Mandalorian.
Yes.
And that was a really fun episode to record. And let us know, again, if you made it this far in the episode, let us know if you want us to do other countdowns, other rankings lists. Ray and I love doing our leaderboards and we love doing this show, but we're always looking for more fun content to interact with you as an audience. And if you want us to do more rankings episodes, if it catches your fancy, let us know. Comment, email us, Lee or Ray at geekslakesports.com. I'm taking all of its closing material, so I'm going to give it back to you now.
Yeah, so basically everything that Lee said right there, you can email us, you can write to us, obviously comment below. Like he said, check out the episode with the Geeks to Lake Sports rankings of the Adidas reverse retro jerseys. Me and Lee, again, we agreed on some stuff, didn't agree on everything. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. That pretty much does it for us. So for Lee, I'm Ray. Yeah, this has been another great episode of Geeks Who Like Sports 83. Episode number 83. And we will see you all next week with more Geeks Who Like Sports. So good night, everybody.